There's an old saying, small wars start with small slights. In my neighborhood, that war didn't begin with crime or politics or even noise complaints. It began with a trash can. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a trash can start a war? But this wasn't just any trash can. This was my trash can fortress. Let me explain. I'm Marcus. My wife Olivia, our 2 kids and I had worked for years to buy our dream home in a quiet suburban neighborhood. We wanted peace, a place for our kids to grow up without drama. What we got instead was Brenda. Brenda was the HOA president, and not just any HOA president. She was the type of woman who strutted around in high heels at 7 a.m., barking orders at gardeners and lecturing neighbors about their grass length. She wore her power like armor and wielded it like a weapon, and for some reason she decided I was her enemy. It started small. Every trash day, my bin would mysteriously be shoved into the street. Sometimes I'd find scratches along the side, like something had scraped it. Then one morning, I saw it happen with my own eyes. Brenda, in her massive black Escalade, pulled out of her driveway, turned sharp, and slammed right into my trash can. Not once, not twice, but every single morning, she'd hit it, shove it aside with her bumper, and keep driving like nothing happened. I watched in disbelief. Who does that? But instead of confronting her right away, I decided on another approach. I reinforced the can, poured concrete into a plastic shell, braced it with rebar, and set it firmly in place. On the outside, it looked like a normal, oversized trash bin. On the inside, it was 60 pounds of immovable, reinforced concrete. And sure enough, the next morning, crunch. Her Escalade slammed into the trash can fortress. This time, the can didn't move. But her bumper? It cracked. Brenda screeched to a halt, stumbled out of the SUV, and saw what had happened. She turned, glaring straight at my house, and for the first time I realized this wasn't just petty annoyance. This was war. From that morning on, Brenda was relentless. First came the daily accidents. She'd still hit the can, now denting her SUV more than the bin. Then came the complaints. "Your trash can is a safety hazard," she told the HOA. "You're violating community rules." I laughed at first, until I started getting official. Letters, violation notices, fines, threats of legal action. It didn't add up. Why was she risking so much over a trash can? One night, frustrated, I sat down with a stack of HOA paperwork, and that's when I noticed something odd. Nearly every HOA contract, from landscaping to pool maintenance to repainting the tennis courts, had been awarded to the same company, Whitmore Construction LLC, and the signature on the invoices? Richard Whitmore, Brenda's husband. Millions of dollars in neighborhood funds were flowing straight into their pockets. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about the trash can. This was about power. Brenda saw me as a threat, not because of a bin, but because she knew I was stubborn enough to fight her. And if I fought her on trash cans, maybe I'd fight her on something bigger. So, I decided to fight back. I built what I called my war room. In the garage, I pinned HOA letters, invoices, and contracts on a corkboard. I mapped out timelines, traced connections, followed the money, and soon, I wasn't alone. Jim, my retired Army neighbor, dropped by and added his security camera footage of Brenda vandalizing his property. Patricia, a single mom down the street, brought letters where Brenda had fined her for improper flower arrangements. Even Dale, the quiet guy no one talked to, admitted Brenda had tried to blacklist him for voting against her. Piece by piece, the picture became clear. Brenda wasn't just a petty neighbor. She was a dictator running our HOA like her own personal ATM. But exposing her wouldn't be easy. Because the more evidence we gathered, the more dangerous she became. The harassment campaign turned ugly. First, my trash can fortress was spray painted with the word trash. Then, Olivia's car was keyed. Our mailbox was ripped from the ground. And then, it escalated again. One night, I found a small black device under my truck, a GPS tracker. That's when I knew. Brenda wasn't just trying to intimidate me, she was trying to destroy me. But the thing about corruption? It's greedy. And greed always leaves a trail. That's how we discovered her latest scheme. Brenda had filed an insurance claim, saying my dangerous concrete trash can had caused extensive vehicle damage to her Escalade. She wanted tens of thousands in payout. But when the investigator came to inspect, he didn't see a dangerous trap. He saw a standard trash can, bolted down, legal under county codes, and he saw years of video evidence. Neighbors had filmed her repeatedly driving into it on purpose. Her claim wasn't just denied. It triggered a fraud investigation. Word spread fast. Our neighborhood Facebook group exploded with posts. Videos of Brenda hitting the can went viral. Soon, local news picked it up. HOA president accused of harassing neighbor over trash can. And if that wasn't enough, the garage war room evidence was finally ready. Dozens of neighbors signed petitions. Former board members admitted they'd been pushed out. Invoices showed over $47,000 in missing HOA funds. The pressure was boiling, and then came the showdown. The emergency HOA board meeting was held in the community clubhouse. By the time Olivia and I arrived, the parking lot was full. Cars lined the street. Neighbors whispered in groups. News vans parked outside, cameras rolling. Inside, the room buzzed with tension. The entire board sat at the front, Brenda in the middle, chin high, lips pursed. She thought this was just another chance to flex her power. She was wrong. When it was my turn to speak, I stood up and rolled in a dolly carrying one thing: my concrete trash can fortress. The room erupted in laughter. But then I laid out the evidence, showed the video clips of her SUV slamming into the can, the insurance fraud claim, the HOA contracts with Whitmore Construction, the financial discrepancies, the missing funds, the inflated invoices. Every point landed like a hammer. Neighbors gasped, cameras flashed, board members shifted nervously. And then, the doors opened. 2 uniformed officers walked in. Brenda. "Whitmore," one of them called. "You're under arrest for insurance fraud, criminal mischief, and embezzlement." The room froze. Brenda shot to her feet, shrieking, "This is a setup. He's lying. You can't do this to me." She lunged at me, screaming, before the officers restrained her. Her perfectly polished image shattered in front of everyone. And in that moment, the queen of the HOA lost her crown. Epilogue. Justice served. The fallout was immediate. Brenda was charged with multiple counts of fraud and embezzlement. Her insurance license was revoked. Richard's company lost its contracts. Together, they owed the community over $120,000 in restitution. The HOA board voted unanimously to suspend her presidency. Patricia, the single mom, was elected as the new president. Within months, reforms were passed. Transparency rules, budget audits, term limits, and my trash can, it became a symbol. Neighbors started calling it the Fortress. At block parties, people took photos with it. Kids painted murals on it. It even got its own mini-festival, Fortress Day. For my family, it meant peace. Olivia finally slept without worry. Our kids felt safe again, and my small business thrived, supported by grateful neighbors. Looking back, it's funny. All of this, when the war, the investigation, the downfall, started because of one stubborn decision: to stand my ground over a trash can, because sometimes that's all it takes. One immovable object to stop an unstoppable bully. Sometimes David does beat Goliath, especially when David's got 60 pounds of reinforced concrete.